A lot of people think Joe Biden's corrupt. A lot of them think he's decrepit and incapable of being president. A lot of people think he's just a mean old jerk. I don't know. I mean, I think he's all three. I don't have to prove to you what a mean jerk he is. Look at his 50-year career in Washington, D.C. Look at how he's treated people. Ask the family of Robert Bork what a nice guy good old Uncle Joe is, or maybe Clarence Thomas. I'm sure he has an opinion or two about it. What about the millions and millions and millions of Americans who dared to vote for Donald Trump in the last election? He thinks they're all fascists and un-American, and well, you get the picture. Earlier today, though, he turned on his base, his core constituency, the people he can always count on to deliver a vote, the media. Yeah, White House reporters are getting frustrated with the fact that they don't get a press conference. They're not able to ask the guy questions unless they're shouting it from across the room and hurried out of the Oval Office. So today, as he was leaving the White House again for another long weekend trip, he was asked specifically about this text message that we've seen, you know, where his crack-addled, corrupt son, Hunter Biden, was sitting on a sofa, possibly naked and smoking crack, we don't know. And he was asking his Chinese handlers to send $1 million to him in a wire transfer because, you know, that's what sons of presidents do all the time. I'm sure John Quincy Adams did that when his dad was president. Anyway, according to that text message, Joe Biden was sitting right next to him when the shakedown occurred. So watch how Joe reacted when a reporter, understandably, asked if that was true.
President Biden, how involved were you in your son's Chinese shakedown text message? Were you sitting there? Were you involved?
No, I wasn't, and I don't.
Were you?
No.
Wow, chill out on the white rage there, Gramps. My God, did you have a grandpa like this? You usually had a nice grandpa and a mean grandpa, right? And the mean grandpa would like sit screaming at you if you accidentally unlocked the screen door in the middle of the summer in Holland, Michigan when everyone was out at the barbecue. But I'm speaking too personally now. That's what happened to me when I was 7 years old. I'm still traumatized over it. But that actually was not the most outrageous and obnoxious and disconcerting moment of this exchange with reporters. No, this should really concern you.
It's hard to tell, but he's clearly losing the war in Iraq. He's losing the war at home. And he has become a bit of a pariah around the world. It's not just NATO. It's not just the European Union.
Putin is clearly losing the war in Iraq. Now listen, we all make a mistake now and again. We have a slip of the tongue. We say one word when we're thinking another. I do it all the time, but we usually catch ourselves and correct it, right? He just went flying right on by, and it's also not the first time he's done it. In fact, it's not the first time he's done it in just 12 hours. A reporter for Bloomberg News was reporting on his fundraiser that he had last night, and at the fundraiser, he said that he referred to Ukraine as Iraq. By the way, I like this. He also referred to his new best friend, the Prime Minister of China. Apparently, he meant the Prime Minister of India, but let's face it, the Prime Minister of China is certainly pretty happy with how Joe Biden's been treating him. After all, you get what you pay for. Here's what's really fun about the whole thing, though. Remember when George W. Bush was the stupidest man alive? He was brain-addled. He was drunk half the time. He was a moron. He was the worst president in history. He couldn't even speak in complete sentences. Remember how he was destroyed and lampooned on Saturday Night Live and every late-night comedy show, and how very serious columnists at the New York Times told you that George W. Bush isn't all there? Well, just a couple of months ago, George W. Bush said this.
In contrast, Russian elections are rigged. Political opponents are imprisoned or otherwise eliminated from participating in the electoral process. The result is an absence of checks and balances in Russia and the decision of one man to launch a wholly unjustified and brutal invasion of of Ukraine. Iraq. Anyway.
There you go. The stupidest, most brain-addled and incompetent president in the history of the United States just mistook Iraq for Ukraine. And Joe Biden just did it too. In fact, Joe Biden just did it last night and he did it today on camera. Now, if George W. Bush was incompetent and addled and stupid and moronic and incapable of being president, and he just did that, then what does it say about Joe Biden? Well, if you watch network news, they'll say nothing about Joe Biden because he's their guy. That's it for tonight. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. In the meantime, I'll see you on the radio.